Hello there, I'm Jeanette Lane, a craft designer at CraftStash, and in today's video I wanted to share how to do the Emboss Resist technique. Now this is a great technique to add to your cards to make some really interesting backgrounds, so let's jump into the tutorial. For this tutorial I'm going to be working with these Crafter's Companion A6 size unmounted rubber stamps. So they're just some really nice floral designs, and there are more designs available at craftstash.co.uk, but I just wanted to show you a quick little shortcut to how to mount unmounted rubber stamps to your stamping blocks. Just a quick little shortcut. And so yeah, I'm going to be working with these stamps to create some great emboss resist effects. And to emboss, I'm going to be using this Ranger Letter It embossing ink pad, and I like this ink pad just because it's so juicy and you can see your embossing when you stamp your image. You can really see where the ink is, and it's just helpful to be able to see it before you sprinkle your embossing powder on top, and you'll see what I mean in just a bit. So really loving this embossing ink pad, and I'm going to be using, for my color background, for my colorful background, I'm going to be using some Distress Inks by Tim Holtz. So here is a little sampling of that. As you can see, this is the unmounted rubber stamp, and it's just a A6 size rubber piece of rubber, and then it has the designs here, but you just cut these out and you mount them. You can mount them to a wood block or your acrylic block with some special adhesive, but I don't have any of that special adhesive to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my design and mount it onto my acrylic block with some double-sided tape. And that's just a quick shortcut for how to mount your unmounted rubber stamps. And I know it's going to leave my acrylic block a little sticky, but you know what? I don't mind, because I can just clean that up with some isopropyl alcohol and just get the goo off. But it's just a great alternative if you want to be quick about mounting your stamps. Okay, so I've cut out my flower design, and I'm going to mount that to my block just like that with some of this double-sided adhesive. My adhesive isn't covering the whole block, but that's okay. I'm just going to position this on there. My adhesive is strong enough, it's going to hold my whole stamp in place. Nice. Now we can get started. So I'm going to grab my A6 cardstock and my embossing ink pad. Now, Emboss Resist is when you heat emboss a white piece of cardstock and then you add color on top, either with distress inks or watercolors. And what happens is you get a great resisting effect, because the color is resisting the embossing. And so you get just some really nice, fancy, colorful backgrounds, and then you get that great image coming through in the white embossing powder. So let's get our stamp all juicy. Okay, now that my stamp is really juicy, I'm just going to stamp a pattern throughout my card. Now if I tilt this just a little bit, you might be able to see where I stamped with my embossing ink. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really juicy. Now I'm going to sprinkle my white embossing powder on top of that. So let me grab a piece of scrap paper. And this is going to catch all of my embossing powder so that I'm not wasting it. I can save it after I sprinkle it on there. This is what it looks like. Right there you can see all the areas where the powder stuck to the embossing ink. And now I'm just going to heat set that, and that's going to melt the powder and fuse it to the ink and give us a nice raised edge. And it's going to be in white, so you're not going to be able to see anything, but that's going to create that resist effect once we add color on top. So let me save this powder here for future projects. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set this with my heat tool. My heat embossing is done, and it's still a little bit hot, so I'm going to put it to the side so I don't accidentally smudge it, because it needs to cool down and set. And meanwhile, I'm going to peel my rubber stamp off of this block. It's a little bit sticky, but it comes off pretty easily. Nice. And let me just clean that up with a baby wipe so I can put that away with the rest of my stamps. Here's my heat embossed card, and now what I'm going to do is put some color on top, and the color is going to resist the embossing, and you're going to get, it's going to magically appear. Your stamped image will magically appear, and it's going to be gorgeous. Really excited about this. This is one of my favorite things to do, is emboss resist, the emboss resist technique. Really loving it. So I'm going to get my distress ink, and this is carved pumpkin. And I'm going to add some color with my mini blending tool. As I add my color, you can see the embossing is coming to the surface, so it's resisting the color, and it's gorgeous. It's really like one of my favorite, seriously, one of my favorite things to do is, I don't know why, it's just so relaxing to see that image come up and you're just blending your colors together. Like, life is good when you are emboss resisting. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch up my colors. So let's do some wild honey. And I started blending my wild honey right on top of my carved pumpkin. And I'm going to blend that out and then blend this color towards the white part of my card. And it just makes a nice little blended effect, seamless kind of blending. And then I can go back in just a bit with the carved pumpkin and blend out some of this kind of like a harsh line that I have going on there. Okay, I'm going to go back with my carved pumpkin and blend the two colors together, so wild honey and carved pumpkin. Make it a little more seamless. Let's add some purple in here. I'm feeling like purpley. So let's grab, this is Wilted Violet. I'm just going to do some purple on the edges. See what that gives us. You can get some really great results with this technique. Some colorful backgrounds, really interesting. Like, people are going to wonder how you did this. I hope that you were inspired by this easy technique, and now you can apply this to all of your cards. You can apply it to also mixed media projects, journaling pages. It's really fun, just a fun technique to have in your crafty toolbox of ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.